For all the honeys in the Hyundai, for all my dreams, you know it's alright.
Hey guys, Steven here from Mammals Gaming. Here I am with my good friend Elias. Why don't you tell us what you did this past weekend?
So I got first place at the, what is it, Catskills? No,
Hartford.
Hartford Regional. I got, my first time I got first place at Catskills, and then this time I got first place again at Hartford. So second time first place regional.
Nice, nice. And what did you play for that?
I decided to play my comfort pick, which is Kashtira.
Nice, nice. And what led you to play Kashtira again?
Again, I just a deck that I know how to play really, really well, and I kind of understand how to, you know, change up the utility cards to play for like the appropriate format.
Okay, okay. And then how do you feel about this format and playing with Kashtira?
Look, I think it's very hard. I think you have a decent matchup against most decks, right? Because everyone's playing a one-of in their extra deck, right? So if I go first, I'm pretty confident. Even going second, it's not that bad. Post-siding, I'm pretty confident, but Tenpai is a very hard matchup, and it's kind of like a 20-80 matchup. Like, I'm not confident in that matchup at all, but I managed to beat two of them, so that's pretty good.
All right, yeah. Both, assuming you're going with a going second strategy?
No, I'm going first.
Oh, really? Going first? Always going first.
Always going first.
Oh, okay.
I do my little Shangri-La play, and that's it. A little simple and nothing else.
All right. Well, here, let's get into the deck profile.
All right, let's do it. So, first things first. Obviously, you're gonna play 3 Fenrir. This is your main, interaction that you always end on. Sometimes you also end on 2, just because people like running over him. 3 Unicorn. People forgot about this card, right? Everyone started taking out 2-ofs in their extra deck, so this card actually like kind of just gets you there. Hitting crucial cards, Fiendsmith cards. You're on the crackback, your opponent tries to OTK you, and then they realize that like, oh, they don't have that card in their extra deck, right? And then you kind of lower their ceiling, so you kind of get another turn because they don't have that OTK line. So Unicorn is obviously its effect is broken, but the second effect is also extremely good. It can be game winning. Then I played 3 Rise Heart. So I like playing a lot of Kashtiras just because I think they're all kind of like win conditions on themselves. And Rise Heart, you know, it has the ability to let you get lucky and hit certain cards from your opponent's top of the deck. It's also consistency. But a little rule I have with this deck is against a super heavy combo deck, I always side one out because Rise Heart alone is not full combo and it kind of needs another card. So yeah, I play 3, but post-siding, if I go into a heavy combo deck going second, I always side one out.
Okay, nice.
And then just other Kashtira cards, obviously the Scareclaw. This is kind of like your semi-win condition against Tenpai, but again, still not that good. Tenpai still kind of destroys you, but yeah, Scareclaw. My favorite one, and in my opinion, the best Kashtira monster. I think this card is absolutely crazy. Alone, just being 2,800 is huge. It's another name, and you have to keep in mind that we don't have a Rise Heart, right? So the deck is not the same as how it used to be. Before, you could afford to play like very small package and end on a Rise Heart, but now you're kind of this card, hitting certain cards, and your opponent's deck is really good. And then last card, Kashtira name is the Tier Cash. I started to bump it up again a little more. I wanted to see Engine just to play the game, and these cards have a really cool effect that you could, during your opponent's turn or your turn, you could banish a card from your hand or grave and then summon them. So it lets you play with the preparations that the Ogre Surgeon do. So this was actually really important and really good change I made into the deck. I really like this card. Now that's it for the cash cards. Now time to get into my crazy hand traps. Just
Shifter,
3
really.
Shifter, 3 Ash. Yeah, that's it. As you can see, everyone else decides to play like 20 hand traps or more hand traps. I just play the ones that are always good. And you'll see that as I go through my deck profile. I only play cards that are going to be live all the time. I don't play super situational cards. So every single game, every matchup, you know, I put in Shifter. Every matchup, you want Ash. So it's just super easy to like side with the deck too, which is cool. So 3 Shifter, 3 Ash. Nothing crazy there. And then onto the spells. Consistency, of course, you're going to play 3 Planet. Your win condition now, another win condition that the deck has. Again, people just how they forgot about Unicorn, they forgot about Birth. Birth right now is just insane against literally almost everything except for Tenpai. 3 Theosis. I have the same rule with Rise Heart. You always side one out going into like a super heavy combo deck. Because again, it requires you to have a card on the board to combo with Theosis. So yeah, I still want 3 in my deck when I go first, right? I want to play Kashtira. The card that I think is getting hit, hopefully it doesn't, but I think this card is just a little ridiculous, if I'm being honest. All the best decks use this card, right? So yeah, Triple Prosperity, since it's there, we could play it. And then my utility cards, which I think is the reason why I won this event, is 3 Cosmic and 3 the Spell Card Monster Reborn. So let me talk about these a little bit. Cosmic is just super clean, super easy to use. It's good in the format, right? It's good going first, it's good going second. And then the Spell Card Monster Reborn, I think, is for sure the reason why I won the event. You're able to chain it to so many things. Use it against the Fiendsmith cards, use it against Tempai. It's good going first, it's good going second. You could reborn your like Fenrir, right? And then sure, Fenrir's effect is negated, but then on your opponent's turn, it gets its effect again, so that's cool. You could reborn your Shangri-Era. You could do so many things with this card. It's so versatile. And a cool trick that came up actually like 2 times in the tournament is if I shifted, I'd use the Spell Card Monster Reborn to reborn my shifter, and then if I had another shifter in my hand, I would shifter again, like on the following turn. So
that's disgusting.
so it kind of like turns on your shifter as well. So it's a card that lets you play through Nib. It's a card that does literally everything. I think it's a little too good, and people are gonna start picking up on it. So.
All right, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, so as you can see, super easy to side with my deck too, which is really important. Let me just pick all these cards up.
Yeah, sure.
And then just the last cards is 1 Talent, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Terraforming. I know this seems odd, nothing to talk about here, but Dark Hole, I just wanted a good card that's good in the mid game, good going second, and when you're going first, a 50-50 chance you're gonna win a dice roll. If I win the dice roll, sure, I could draw Dark Hole and it won't be the greatest, but on the crackback, it'll be really good. And going second, I'm drawing the 6th card per turn, and I also have Prosperity, so I have more chances of seeing Dark Hole going second, which I like. And then the 1 of Talents, I'm not playing 2, so I can never brick on 2 of them, and it was good. Whenever I saw it, it was good. If I didn't see it, you see. I drew another card in my deck that was good, right? And then MVP, of course, I always say this, is the preparations. So a really cool play that you do is you have your Scareclaw cache, and then you just don't use preparations. And then in their battle phase, you use preparations to summon the Scareclaw cache. So you're not using a monster effect, and you're getting into Scareclaw cache during the battle phase, so you kind of negate all the Tempai cards, which is cool. It came up. And the fact that it brings another Kashtira monster on the board is really good. Like, just like all the cash cards, if they survive a turn, you're winning the game because you're getting to so many cards on the following turn. This is another card that enables that environment for you. So I think this card was definitely the reason why I did really well.
Nice.
Now, what do you want to do? Side deck or extra deck?
Yeah, let's go into the extra deck.
Extra deck, all right. Now, 1 Shangri-Era. You always end on this when you go first. You don't really need more. Then it's just utility cards, right? So Dark Armed, really powerful, big guy. 76 is pretty good against Tempai. It's also like quick effect DD Crow, so that's cool. Metal Flare, I'm considering bumping this card up to 2 actually, because there's certain matchups like Stun or Tempai where you don't really want to end on your Shangri-Era play, because Raigeki or Dark Hole, you auto lose to those cards. So ending on like double Metal Flare could kind of get you there. So I might bump this up to 2 and try to go that route.
Definitely puts them on a timer for sure.
Yeah, it definitely puts them on a timer. So I really like this card. Then 1 Typhon, 1 Zeus. And then the Draco Sack play, which is these cards. So I usually always go into Heat Soul, I draw a card, and then I go into Appaloosa, and then I start playing the game, which is cool. You get 1 draw plus a 2 Appo negate. That plus the Shangri-Era with the Fenrir and the Birth, it's a little overwhelming. So I like that. If I'm going against Stun, you could just sit on Heat Soul and try to draw into your Cosmics or draw into your utility cards. So it's just something to do with your cash monsters instead of just like funneling your play into the, ending on 5 cash cards, which auto loses to certain things. So this play came up a few times. It's pretty good.
Yeah, especially with the Spell Card Monster Reborn. If you get nibbed,
exactly.
You at least still have those plays going for you.
Exactly. And you could reborn your Heat Soul and then draw a card on your opponent's turn. So that's cool. 1 SP Little Knight and the 1 Lizard. This card is really cool, again with the Spell Card Monster Reborn, because it banishes itself as cost, so you always clear your main monster zone, which is cool. You could, you get to play through Disruption, and yeah, it clears your board, and you can potentially even draw a card. So this came up a couple times when I had the Spell Card Monster Reborn.
Nice. All right. Cool.
Now onto the side deck. The cool thing about Cash is your normal summon is not that important, so you could easily play Lava Golem. So this was really good against Yubel. I played against 2 Yubel, and it came up. I drew it both times, so that was good. 3 Spooky.
How'd you like Spooky?
I mean, it came up once that I used it in like a time scenario, but in reality, like I didn't even need to Spooky. Like I had Metal Flare, so it didn't come up this event. But I think it's just too important to like have in your deck. You need to have it, especially in this format. Everyone's playing Fiendsmith cards, and the fact that they could burn for 12 is a little unfair. So you kind of need something to interact with that and kind of like cheese the win, right? Because if you don't have this, you auto lose the game if they go Lacrimosa, and it's a little ridiculous.
How do you deal with getting Spooky? Do you alternate your route, or do you just play through it?
It depends on the time, of course. Depends how much time is on the clock. But if I can just go Metal Flare, pass, I think that's kind of what I have to do. But you'll see that with my side deck, the rest of the cards of my side deck, I'm kind of like anticipating getting spookied. So if my opponent spookies me, it's kind of like if you max C someone and your opponent sets 5, you're gonna feel like shit because they're like, well, my spooky or my maxi didn't do anything. And that's kind of like the idea that I have. You play super simple and you side into back row. So even if they spooky you or they maxi you or whatever, you just set cards and you pass, and then that could get you there.
So quick side story: I was also at the same regional as Elias here, and I was playing against a Cash matchup. Going to game 2, I opened the Spooky Dogwood. I just shotgun it. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, big mistake.
All he did was normal summon Rise Heart, Theosis into Scareclaw, Kashtira, overlay into Shangri-Era, set 2 pass. I'm like, all right.
That's a pretty nice play, actually. Yeah,
down to 4,000, just like that.
4,000. Oh man. Yeah, you got to be careful. Also, if they chain like certain cards to like. You try to summon and they chain droplets sending that card, you could potentially lose the game. So you gotta be careful when you use it.
For sure.
Last cards is Called by the Grave, Dark Hole, Duster, and Thrust. Just my theory of one-ups that I have. The cool thing about the Spell Card Monster Reborn 2 is I got Called by the Grave on my Ash, and then I chained Spell Card Monster Reborn my Ash, so then this way they're Called by the Grave missed. So I like how this card also plays around that Called by the Grave.
Yeah, very cute, very cute.
It's cute. It could come up.
No,
and
for
then,
sure.
The second Dark Hole with the Thrust, going second again, like I said, with Prosperity, drawing the 6/5 per turn.
You never felt you needed more thrusts?
No, I think 1 is perfect. Again, like I have this theory that like I really don't want to see hard once per turn cards, and even if I don't draw Thrust, I'll draw something else in my deck that's good, right? I'm not gonna have dead cards in my deck ever, and if you go back and you look at throughout the whole deck, almost every card is going to be live in my hand. I'm never going to be sitting with dead cards in my hand. So yeah, and then some traps that I play, which can be searched off of Thrust as well, but very good standalone, is the Evenly Match going second, D-Barrier, which I think is kind of mandatory right now, and then the Threatening Roar against, like again, my worst matchup, which is Tenpai. And then the last card, again, you just switch off your brain and you could just side deck, right? You don't have to think. You're going first, okay, these 3 go in, So, and it covers your bad matchups, it covers stun, it covers almost everything. So, I like how you can play super simple, side super simple, and you have a card for every deck. Like it doesn't matter which one it is. So, that's pretty much it.
Can you recall what your matchups were for the regional?
So I played against 2 Tenpai, I played against 2 Yubel Fiendsmith, 2 Snake Eye Fiendsmith, that's 2, 4, 6, right? And then I played against, what was it?
You played Gimmick Puppet in the final.
Oh, Gimmick Puppet in the final, yeah.
Shout out to Russ.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's 2, 4, 6, yeah, I think that's it.
Alright, cool.
Oh, and 2 Runic Stun, I'm sorry.
2 Runic Stun.
2 Runic Stun.
Oh, a lot of 2 of us, huh?
Yeah, I think that one of them is on your profile too, the guy that I played against, yeah. So a lot of 2 of us. And then the Gimmick Puppet, which was scary. That was the scariest matchup, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's pretty much it.
Perfect. Well, hey, thanks for doing the profile for us, and then hope to see great things from you in the future.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Alright.
Yeah, left on red said none of this shit would get easier. Best friend flirting